When you don't drink, it can feel hard turning down alcohol, especially if you're in an environment where everybody else is boozing. I want to arm you with some awesome tips that will help you be able to say no to alcohol no matter where you are. I'm Robin Chapple, the Quit Alcohol Coach. I share new videos on my YouTube channel every Tuesday and every Thursday. Make sure you hit subscribe and you'll be notified every time there's a new video. You can also check out my books, The Sober Survival Guide and How to Quit Alcohol in 50 Days if you need more inspiration for quitting drinking. Or you can join my Stop Drinking program. The website address is on the screen right now. Now let's get into those tips so you can turn down alcohol when you don't drink. Now my number one tip is to make sure you've got some reasons ready if anyone asks you why you're not drinking. Or if anyone offers you a drink, you're prepared and you know exactly what you're going to say. You could say that you're on medication, you're training for a big event, you're taking a break from alcohol for health reasons. You can use whatever reason you want. Personally, I chose to share the truth. I told people that I'd stopped drinking because I was drinking too much and it was having a negative effect on my life. Now that might fill you with fear. You might think that people will challenge you or there's a sense of stigma attached to that. People might start calling you an alcoholic, who knows? But for me, all I found is that people were interested and inquisitive. They actually seemed impressed and wanted to know why and how I'd managed to quit, and they asked me more about my story and my journey. Only once or twice did I get any kind of judgmental comment, and they were from people who I was pretty good friends with, and actually they had their own issues with alcohol, and it felt like my talking about it had made them look in the mirror at their own drinking behaviour. So arm yourself and prepare yourself ahead of time and know what you're going to say, either if somebody asks why you're not drinking or if somebody offers you a drink. My second tip is to keep yourself armed with a drink, just not an alcoholic one. People are far less likely to offer you a drink or question you about your drinking behaviour if you've got a glass in your hand. There are loads of awesome non-alcoholic options available, and most good venues these days have a wide selection. So you can dive into those and really start to enjoy them and check out all the different flavours without the need to drink alcohol. If you've got a glass in your hand, people are very unlikely to offer you drinks or to try and encourage you to drink alcohol. Some people I know even pretend that they're drinking alcohol when they've got a non-alcoholic drink in their glass. They just do it to make their own lives easier. So think about what will work for you. A big part of this is planning in advance, thinking ahead of time and knowing what you're going to say and what you're going to do. Another excellent tip to avoid drinking when you don't want to is to drive. If you're going out socially or heading to a particular venue or event, offer to drive. Most people find that if they commit to driving, they automatically commit to not drinking. So ask yourself that question. Are you one of those people who, if you drive somewhere, you definitely won't drink? If so, that's an awesome tactic that you can use. Simply offer to drive. Commit to driving and commit to not drinking. Now you might find yourself in situations where people pressure you to drink. Peer pressure can be very powerful, and it's important to remind yourself that you have the power to say no. You have the choice in the situation, and ahead of time I think it's important to remind yourself that you own that power of choice and to find your no when you need to. It can be hard to say no, but if you've made a decision that you're not going to drink, it really is important to stand by it and be able to say no. Now you might want to choose to do that ahead of time. If you're going out socially, you might want to tell the people that you're going with that you will not be drinking, or you might want to do it when you get to the event. Either way, think about it, think about when you'd prefer to do it, and make sure you stand by your decision to say no. When you start to find your no, you start to reclaim back some of your personal power. Many of the people I work with through my sobriety coaching have become people pleasers over the years. I was absolutely one of those people, and part of the amazing journey of personal growth and self-development as we quit alcohol is being able to say no, to be authentic and share our absolute truth, even when it feels uncomfortable. Another excellent strategy if you're finding yourself pressured or people are challenging you about your drinking behaviour is to change the subject. You don't have to talk about it, and you can quickly move on to something else. Generally, the people who will be talking to you about why you're not drinking will be drinking themselves and possibly drunk themselves. It can be really easy simply to move on to another topic, and before you know it, you'll have moved away from it. Again, it's worth thinking about this ahead of time and putting a little bit of planning into it. The more you plan ahead, the easier you're going to make your own life. I think it's important just to keep it simple. You don't want something complicated or convoluted that you struggle to remember when the moment arises where you need to use your tactic or come up with the reason why you don't want to drink. Just keep it simple. You could just say, I don't want a hangover tomorrow. I'm driving. I'm on a health kick. Whatever you need to say, but keep it simple and make sure it's something you feel really comfortable with and that you can easily remember. And that's another good reason simply to use the truth. You will be surprised how little people judge you and how encouraging and interested people are when you tell them that you're choosing not to drink. Let's say you're initially planning to take a break from alcohol for 30 days. Well, if somebody asks you why you're not drinking and shows an interest, you could try and get them on board and tell them how wonderful it would be to have their support and to have an accountability partner during that 30-day period. So you could turn this around and try and get people to join you. And of course, if that person then says that there's no way they could take a break for 30 days, they've probably answered their own question. And you might find that they actually start wondering more about their own relationship with alcohol. They're probably somebody that you'll be hearing from in the not too distant future. And the final tip is to always have an exit strategy. If things get too much at any type of social event, or you're struggling to say no, or you feel like you might be tempted, then leave. Have an exit strategy and simply leave. And additionally, it's always worth considering whether you really want to go in the first place. I use a system called FOG, F-O-G. And if I find that I'm agreeing to do something or go somewhere through fear, obligation or guilt, FOG, then I will question whether I really want to do it. And I'd always invite you to question any invites to social events that you might get and actually assess whether you really want to go in the first place or whether fear of missing out is coming up. Use the FOG system and assess whether you actually want to go or whether you would prefer to do something with your family or maybe something for yourself that really brings joy into your life. Always ask yourself that before you commit to anything.